Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are watching this out there on the World Wide Web. This is Jeremy Geelan for SYS-CON TV here at 12th Cloud Expo. Cloud Expo New York, as is Henrik Rosendahl, who's with us from Quantum. Welcome, sir.
Thank you very much. I'm happy to be here.
Well, you say that, but I can change all that. Henrik, I know you've been talking, and I know that how shall we start? How shall we position you guys in the great scheme of things?
Well, Quantum is transitioning its business from being a predominant hardware-based on-premise data protection provider to turning into sort of a cloud-based, MSP, right?
Which is, of course, the meme of Cloud Expo. We're here to help.
Yes, it is, right? And so we are sort of on the forefront of changing the data protection, for enterprises from a predominantly on-premise exercise to a more and more predominant sort of part is going to be cloud. And I head up that group.
And I'm assuming that was driven by your customers, and you've responded. So those customers you're going to retain and take into the cloud.
Yeah, absolutely. There's been a sort of a pull, if you will, from the customers in the past sort of 12 months to start operating, a part of their data protection infrastructure on behalf of them. And really what's interesting in this the last 3 to 6 months, more and more customers are looking at the OpEx cloud charge model to apply to the on-premise data storage as well. So they're looking at it saying, look, if we can get some financial benefits and get away from this whole CapEx model and turn it into an OpEx model in the cloud side, why couldn't we do that on the on-premise side as well? And so I'm heading up that as well as a part of sort of a transition of our business strategy.
So they're being fiscally responsible because the savings are there, the flexibility is there, the use cases are there. I mean, how could they not?
They're actually, shifting the risk to the vendor, right? Where they're like, why am I buying a petabyte of storage that is sitting on the shelf unused for a year? Why are you not sort of sharing that risk with me? And that's really a huge shift in the market that I've seen.
And Quantum's going to ride that wave and expand its business. It's going to turn it into a huge plus, presumably.
Absolutely, right? Things are moving away from tape and it's moving to disk and cloud, and we are riding that wave, absolutely.
So, in a year's time, or in just a few months' time on the West Coast at the next Cloud Expo, what would you be wanting? I mean, it's new for the vision and getting, customer success stories, but what would you be wanting? What sort of milestones would you like to have passed by then?
So the new thing we have in store is a new technology called object storage, which is specifically targeted for sort of the big data types of applications, right? And the whole premise of storage for big data is that there's a lot of data and it's very, very expensive. And so protecting, big data sort of sizes is very, very expensive and not really practical. And so object storage offers sort of a blend between primary data and secondary data, all sort of in a self-healing, self-protecting platform. And that's what we're going to be announcing and talk a lot more about in the fall.
So if someone's following this out there on the World Wide Web, how do we send them to the website, and where should they look?
It's quantum.com, and they can look at the object storage. We call it Lattice, and start sort of...
Lattice?
Lattice, Lattice, Lattice.
Lattice, okay.
And sort of start familiarizing themselves with that.
Okay, you heard it here first on SYS-CON TV. Thanks so much, Henrik, for joining us here in New York, and thank you for following this out there on the World Wide Web.